Welcome everyone to a brand new video here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinnenberg. It's my final award show video before the Oscars this upcoming Sunday. And I'm joined for this discussion, for this ballot show today by my younger brother, Ben. So welcome everyone to another Max Talks Oscars here at Max Talks Movies. If you guys are new, please hit that subscribe button, ring that bell if you like videos like these. I do award show videos, movie franchise rankings, out of theater reactions, movie, TV show reviews. If you like any one of those, please consider subscribing because we have a lot more videos for you here on Max Talks Movies on a daily basis. Comment down below. What is your ballot for the Oscars 2026? I'll be in the comments. Want to hear your predictions, your shockers, your surprises. What do you think will happen? What do you think should happen? Love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. And also, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. For this final video, I brought on my brother Ben, who's become, over the last 2 or 3 years, a massive fan of the Oscars. He's fully committed himself to the Oscars like I have over the last 12 to 13 years. And wanted to have him on today to go through our ballots. So on the screen, you're going to see both our ballots on screen. I'm going to be checking them off as we go along so you can do your ballots with us. But Ben, before we get into this ballot show, just give me your just quick thoughts on the season as a whole. Are you enjoying it? Is it dragging? Just tell me your thoughts on the Oscars season of 2026.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much, Max, for having me on the show. So happy to be here. So excited to get into the nitty-gritty of this Oscar season. My experience so far this season has been a great one thus far. I know there's been a lot of controversy over, the quality of the films this year, but as my first year doing a real deep dive into cinema, into film this year, I've had such an outstanding time. Been able to watch all the award precursors thus far. And I'm just really excited. Yeah, definitely ready to get into it, ready to have a dialogue. There's definitely a lot of races I think we got here, but I think the season's run a little too long. I am ready for Sunday. I've been ready for Sunday for a little while here now, but now that it's here, I can't wait. How are you feeling?
I'm I've said this on my videos here before. I'm definitely ready for this award season to be over. As someone who's been doing this for over a decade, this feels the by far the longest award season of them all that I've been covering, and I
Hmm.
am just ready for Sunday to be over and us to stop talking about some of these movies and move on to the year of 2026. As we are 3 months in or 2.5 months in, and I'm ready to move on to this year's slate of movies, then focusing still on 2025. So as I said, we're going to go through each of these awards and nominations here. The ballots are going to be on screen, so we're not going to break down each of the movies and each of the nominees. We're going to go through category, giving our predictions, and I am very excited because I guess I'll say this before I get into this video. I am someone who had a perfect ballot, won the ESPN Bracket Challenge for the 2022 Oscars. So I was able to take my mom to the 2023 Oscars. If I'm not saying it, 2023 Oscars, red carpet, and do all of that. So I've had a perfect ballot before. So know that before we get into this ballot show that I could be someone you can trust with these ballots. So let's get into it. We're going to start. I'm using Letterboxd, their ballot. So on the far right, we're going to go up. Let's start right away with a pretty big category, Ben. Original screenplay. I do think this is one of the easier, these two writing ones that we're going to talk about are two of the easiest ones to break down. I am going to pick Sinners for original screenplay. I think from a personal perspective, this could be the biggest award Coogler receives on the night. Ben, who are you putting in for original screenplay?
I also am going to select Sinners in this category. I think it's the most original and most inventive script of the year. I do want to give a shout out here to Blue Moon on this one. What an incredible screenplay and performance from Ethan Hawke. But yeah, this is Ryan Coogler's moment, and I couldn't be happier for him. Sinners is getting this award.
Yes, Sinners will get this award. That takes us to adapted screenplay right above it, where I think the favorite obviously is One Battle After Another. That's who I'm picking in this category. Ben, who do you have in adapted screenplay?
I will also give PTA his Oscar. I think that we will get into a discussion later in the video about director. I think that even if he comes up short there, PTA will win adapted screenplay and win his first Oscar.
That's right. It is crazy that it will be his first Oscar victory, but I think he might
Hmm.
win multiple on this night. Uh,
Hmm.
and again, we're gonna if there's debates, Ben and I are going to have a longer debate, but there's predictable, obvious categories. We're probably more just going to keep things moving because it is 24 categories that we are breaking down in this video. Visual effects. Ben, who do you like in visual effects?
I think that this may be the single most locked up award of the night. This is
Yeah.
Avatar Fire and Ash all day, every day. It's won for the first two movies, and I think it's going to get this award here.
I agree. This is actually kind of a weak visual effects category, which I think helps Avatar a lot. And I agree. I think it's
Mhm.
the one award that if anyone had a 100% chance of winning an award on this show, it would be Avatar Fire and Ash, which again, unlike the other two films, was not a factor really at all this award season. The first two films were nominated for Best Picture. This is
Mhm.
Avatar Fire and Ashes. They had two nominations on the night, costume design and visual effects. So, yeah, I think it's going to win its lone Oscar here. That takes us to a fascinating category, which is Best Sound. I think a lot of people have put in F1 for this category, but I think a lot of people have had some upsets. Ben, where are you going with Best Sound?
I think that based on the industry prizes thus far this season, I'm going to select in this prediction video F1. However, I do want to throw out that if Sinners is going to have a massive night, I think that this could be a category that could upset. I think that the music, as we will get to in Sinners, is such a crucial factor in that film. And I think that the sound could go along with that, but I'm going to select F1 because I think that is what's going to win here.
Yeah, I this is a complicated one because I actually F1 I think is going to win this particular Oscar for Best Sound. I do have it actually losing a category. I would have picked it winning a month ago. We'll
Mm,
get into that later, but I think
hmm
for F1, I think its lone Oscar win for me at least is going to be in this category for Best Sound. It's that is kind of what makes this movie, the racing sequences. I think Sinners, like I think just F1's from a sound perspective is a much stronger pick here.
I agree.
But again, I think you're right. If Sinners, for example, is just going to win every single award, sure, you can put it in here for best sound. But to spread the
hmm
wealth, I think the rightful choice is going to be F1. Now, production
hmm
design, I think, is another kind of slam dunk here for this award. I'm picking Frankenstein for best production design. It when I watched the movie, had the most jaw-dropping sets and look
Right.
of the entire year. It's not becoming a strong movie above the line, but I think below the line, this movie is probably going to dominate here at the Oscars. But Ben, who do you have in production design?
I am It's going to get boring really quick. I'm also going to agree with you and go with
Yeah,
Frankenstein here. I was not as high on this film as you and many others. I do think the crafts are the main standout of the film.
yep,
Um, Again, Sinners is my favorite movie of the year. I think that the production design in Sinners is quite outstanding. The way that they're able to create that town, and get that 1930s feel. And I'd love to see that. But this is going to be Frankenstein, no doubt about it.
yeah, I agree. Let's get to the two music categories, which also I think are kind of shoo-ins to win at this point.
Yes.
Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters is probably and most likely going to win this category. Won't be K-pop's only win, spoiler alert from my end, but Ben, do you also have Golden from
I do.
K-pop?
I do. I just think it's an unstoppable force in this
Yep,
category.
yep, one
Yeah.
second. Okay, let's move on to Best Original Score, Ben, which again also a very predictable category. It's going to be Ludwig Göransson for Sinners. A lot of people think he'll be the next John Williams like, where he's going to be winning a ton of Oscars. Already won for Black Panther and Oppenheimer. This is going
Mhm.
to be another win for him. Ludwig for Sinners, Ben.
It is going to be Ludwig. I think that this is far and away the best score of the year,
Yeah.
and perhaps me even the score of the decade thus far. For me personally, Sinners is my favorite movie of the year, and I've just never seen a movie use music and score integrated with the
Yep.
story and also the message of the movie. I think this is a slam dunk. Early in the year, I felt like maybe one battle could be competitive in this category, but I'm happy that Ludwig will be accepting his third Oscar on Sunday.
Yeah, for a category that is seemingly done, I do think we had a really strong year in score.
I
Even
agree.
movies like Marty Supreme and F1 were not nominated in Best Score.
Hmm
Easily could have been, should have been.
Yes.
But again, we had a very stacked year, but Ludwig, I think, is going to win, and he's definitely going to start racking up Oscars over the next decade or so.
hmm
Makeup. and hairstyling. Frankenstein, once again,
Yeah.
probably going to win here. This is easily
Hmm.
the weakest competition for Frankenstein in a particular below the line award. Ben,
Yeah.
Frankenstein as well.
Yes, Frankenstein is going to win this award for sure.
And don't worry, guys, there's going to be some debates. We're just going through we're going award for award and a lot. And I will say most of these awards do feel like they're kind of locked up at this point. There's a few that we're going to have some pretty heated debates about. But just want to say also, look at us. We're wearing our nice little stuff because it's the Oscars. We want to look presentable for the Oscars, right, Ben? We want to look presentable, for God's sake.
Absolutely. If I had a three-piece suit, that's what I'd be wearing.
Exactly. Let's get into live action short film to wrap up the right side of the ballot. This is not a category I'm going to be the expert on, but Ben, what is your prediction for live action short?
So, sight unseen on these four short categories, I'm going to be going with A Friend of Dorothy
Yes,
in this category. That is just what I've seen on the circuit thus far, win in a few places. And without having seen the five nominees, that's what I'm going to go with.
I agree. That's what I've been hearing. Friend of Dorothy, I agree. Live action short film. Let's move to that middle pile. I know you guys see the best picture. We're going to end on best picture. We're going to start with international feature in our middle piles. We're moving through very good right now. This is a
Hmm.
really competitive category, right? Because we have The Secret Agent, which is Wagner Moura getting a nomination, but you also have films like Sentimental Value. It was just an accident getting in for best picture. So
Hmm.
Ben, where are you leaning to win best international feature?
So I think that this is a very interesting category. I think that last year it was perhaps the most interesting category on the night. There was a lot of controversy around Emilia Perez and its 13 nominations. And then we had I'm Still Here coming from Brazil and just the passion for that film and really the quality of that film with the controversy of Emilia Perez, I think helped propel that Best Picture nominee and I'm Still Here to a victory.
Yeah.
I personally don't believe that Secret Agent can do the same. The reason that I say that is because with I'm Still Here, it was the quality of the film. And I think with the controversy of Emilia Perez, I think Sentimental Value with its nine nominations is far too strong. I think Wagner Moore is very good. I didn't love the film personally, inspired nominations in casting and stuff like that. But I just think this is Sentimental Value. I think it's too strong with its above the line and below the line, even getting into editing, and stuff like that. So I don't think Secret Agent can do this. But if Secret Agent does win this award, keep your eye on Wagner Moura for Best Actor. I would just say that. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I this is an interesting one because again, I think it was just an accident has a bit bigger shot than people are expecting because again, it was nominated for Best Picture. I or sorry, it wasn't, but I
It
still
wasn't, yeah.
it wasn't, but I still feel like those three movies are definitely the three movies. But I still think
Mm-hmm.
Sentimental Value is going to win. It has the much strong. Once it has those amounts of acting nominations, plus it was in for Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the only way this would lose if Sentimental Value had a shot at winning Best Picture because it has no shot at winning Best Picture. This is kind of going to be the main award it wins on the night.
Mm-hmm.
So Secret Agent, I think it's a good second with it being nominated for picture, getting a lead actor, being nominated for other things.
Yeah.
Um, if there's real passion, as you said, for the performance of Wagner Moore, which I don't think he's going to win Best Actor. We'll get into that later. But if
Mm-hmm.
there's a real passion for him to win, maybe. But I'm sticking with Sentimental Value. It's too many above the line
I
nominations
agree.
for it to lose here. Um,
Absolutely.
let's get to another fascinating category, which is film editing.
Mm.
I would tell you a month ago, and I said this in my sound thing. I would have told you F1. It's a lock for
Mm-hmm.
editing. I am not picking F1 for editing. I feel very weird about that. I think F1 should win Best Edited Movie of the Year for film editing, but it's not going to, I don't think. I think this is another juggernaut 1v1, one battle after another in Sinners in
Mm-hmm.
editing. Ben, do you agree? And who do you have in editing before I give you my prediction?
So my prediction for this category is going to be one battle after another. I think the pace with which that movie moves is really impressive for a 2 hour and 30-minute epic. Um, my one big shout out in this category, my choice would personally be Marty Supreme. I think that it's a movie that I think is much weaker than the Sinners and the One Battles and the Hamnets of the world, but that should be in the conversation in these editing. I think it should have gotten a score nomination, one of the best scores of the year. And I'd love to see it win editing here. I think that it's, the stress and pace again, which with Marty Supreme is really good, but I just think this is one battles category to lose here.
I disagree with your take on Marty. It's my second favorite movie of the year. I wish it was. I think it's better than the majority of the movies that are in awards season. But again,
Hmm.
BS controversy. I'll get my whole rant when we get to Best Actor. But
Yeah, we can talk about it.
I'm very mad at the trajectory of that movie for this awards season. But
Hmm.
I'm very much stuck on the one battle versus sinners thing. I think this is I, man,
You
because I
think
think
Sinners can be competitive here?
I do. I don't think F1
Interesting.
is going to win. I do think it's one battle and sinners. I am going to go with one
Mm.
battle. I know we're picking the same things as of now. We're going to mix things
Hmm.
up. Don't worry. But I do think my heart's. I think sinners. If it truly is that movie, it could win here. I just think one battle is the much better edited movie. But again, who
I
knows?
agree.
But I
Hmm.
still think Sinners is the number two. I think F1 should win. I think it's the best edited movie of the year. But
Hmm.
who knows? Let's get into some shorts. Again, documentary shorts. Ben, who do you got for documentary short?
Again, sight unseen on these, but I do think that this is the easiest, perhaps, of the four to pick. I do think this is going to be all the empty rooms.
Yep.
Just the subject matter, and from what I've heard, how they handled it was masterful.
Yep.
And I just think this wins.
All the empty rooms, again, I agree. I know the subject matter. I've read a lot of research about the film, so this seems
Hmm.
pretty much a lock. Documentary feature. Um,
Mm.
Perfect Neighbor, I think, is a lot of people's favorites. That's what I'm picking. But Ben, who do you have for best documentary feature?
So for best documentary feature, I'm gonna go with The Perfect Neighbor as well.
Yeah.
I do think that the BAFTA win for Nobody Against Putin could be
Okay.
spoiler here, but again, sight unseen. These are the four categories where I haven't seen anything. The other 20, I've seen all of the nominations. So for these, it's a little tricky, but from what I'm seeing, I think this is gonna be The Perfect Neighbor.
Now let's get to the first major. Well, we've done screenplays, but those are very obvious. Big
Hmm.
Five awards, Best Director. So
Hmm.
I still feel that this is a Ryan Coogler versus Paul Thomas Anderson category.
Hmm.
I am still picking Paul Thomas Anderson to win Best Director. Even
Hmm.
if Sinners indeed wins Best Picture, I don't think that necessarily means PTA is losing Best Director. Now, I will
Right.
say, if Coogler wins Best Director, we know who's going to win Best Picture. But I still
Hmm.
think if PTA wins Director, it's going to be up for grabs. I do think there's going to be a thing of, even if One Battle isn't as beloved of a movie as Sinners, I still feel the respect is going to be there for PTA, and I think a lot of voters are going to be like, we can wait on Coogler for actual director. We're already giving him
Yeah.
screenplay. PTA is a guy who's been nominated for 30 years now at this award show and hasn't won Best Director or any award. So
Hmm.
I think Paul Thomas Anderson's going to win. I do see the strong push for Ryan Coogler, but I do think he's going to already win an Oscar for screenplay.
Yeah.
And even if Sinners wins Best Picture, that doesn't mean that knocks PT out of director. So I am sticking with Paul Thomas Anderson for Best Director. I thought it was an absolute lock a month ago. It feels like
Hmm.
it's more 60-40, I would say, at this point, but I still lean PTA. Ben, where do you stand on Best Director?
Again, I'm going to agree with you on this one. It's going to be Paul Thomas Anderson, and I consider him maybe my favorite living director. Definitely in the top three or five. So I've been waiting for this moment for a very long time. Boogie Nights and There Will Be Blood and Phantom Thread and The Master. He's just made masterpiece after masterpiece over the last 20 years. I know you're not a big fan of his work in the last 10 years, but I agree with you. I think the respect is going to be there. He won a DGA. And as we saw last year, Sean Baker didn't win director anywhere. He wins DGA, he wins the Oscar. I think DGA's hit 9 out of the last 10, something like that. So I do think this is Paul Thomas Anderson. And again, I couldn't be more thrilled for him. I'm super happy that he's going to have a Best Director trophy in his house.
Yeah, I disagree with guys. I hate the awards season for this reason of let's just give awards to guys just because they've been doing it for 30 years, or let's wait on these people because they're young. I just think it's the laziest excuse. It should be the best. And I think Coogler directed a significantly better movie, but again, I feel
I
like I'm a
agree.
minority. I don't think I don't think this is a top PTA movie. It's not one of his two or three best movies, but again, for
Hmm.
people love One Battle. It's definitely quieted a lot, which I've actually been rather enjoyed the
Yeah,
fact that people have been less enjoying that film. But again, I like One Battle After Another a lot. I would pick Ryan Coogler, but again, Josh Safdie I also thought was a stronger choice here. But again, PTA is going to win. He's been nominated for a billion times, never won. That's why he's going to
Yeah.
win. That's the situation. So, costume design, another one we can just kind of quickly go through. Um, Frankenstein is going to win costume design. Ben, or no?
Yes, I think Frankenstein wins costume design.
Yeah.
It's funny, as we're looking through this ballot, I just keep wanting to pick Sinners and anywhere it is. I really think that it's a movie that, a lot of people, I feel like people love it, but not many people are like, oh, this should be the most nominated movie of all time. And I just think the crafts in every single area in
Yeah.
this movie are outstanding. I think the costume design in Sinners is quite outstanding. I think that'd be my number two. But yeah, I think Frankenstein in these craft categories is just gonna lock them up real quick, three Oscars and just win them.
Yep. Cinematography is, I think, the hardest one to pick out of the below the line awards. There are
Hmm.
a lot of good choices here. I've seen
Hmm.
people pick Train Dreams. I've seen people pick
Hmm.
one battle after another. I've seen people pick Frankenstein. Sinners, I think those are like the four that feel like they have a legit shot to win for
Hmm.
cinematography. I am very much up in the air. Ben, before I make my pick, what is your pick? Where are you leaning for cinematography here?
So on this category, I do think that it's a fascinating one. But I think that this is again pretty much a lock for one battle after another. I think Michael Bondman is going to win this award. He won at BAFTA. He won at ASC. And I think he won Critics' Choice as well. Excuse me, Critics' Choice went to Train Dreams. It won the Globe for cinematography. Um, a lot of people would love this to be Sinners, and I would love it to be Sinners. I think the moment in the movies this year, the best scene in cinema this year is that one shot, the mixing of generations one shot in the barn. And I think it should win cinematography for that alone. But it's going to be one battle after another in this category. It's won everywhere it needed to.
Okay, so I was leaning that way, but guess what? We're going too long picking the same thing. So I am going to pick something different here to mix things up. On my official ballot, I might go with one battle on the night of the Oscars. I am very fascinated in this award. I'm going to pick for this video, as of now, Sinners for
Wow.
cinematography. Um,
Hmm.
I think it has a big chance to win here. If one battle could win some other below the line awards, Sinners is not really going to be shown a lot in these below the line awards. So I think its best chance to win a below the line award is here. And that's why I'm
Mm.
going to pick Sinners.
And it would be history, obviously, with that win. I just think she needed to win somewhere, and
But
she
I,
didn't.
I feel the momentum for the movie. Again, I might pick a
Mm.
different movie for Best Picture.
Hmm.
But we need to disagree on something. I'm just gonna go with Sinners here to start mixing it up.
All right, love
Again,
it.
I think on the night I'd probably go with one battle, but I'm for this video, let's go have some fun and pick Sinners. Now,
Hmm.
we're heading down the home stretch in our final 10 minutes or so of this video. Let's get into casting, which I think is another just layup. Sinners is going to win Best Casting. I thought it was going to be one battle this award season for these Best Casting awards, but I think at this point, Sinners has is pretty much locked in key. Ben, do
Yeah.
you have it for Best Casting?
I do have this in best casting. I think that this is going to be one of the moments of the night. Francine Maisler is an absolute legend in the casting world. And for this inaugural casting award, I just think this is a slam dunk for her. I think the ensemble of Sinners is perhaps the strongest of the year. One battle after another is quite strong, but in terms of finding new talent, finding Miles Kenton, Mooney Masaku, all of these great actors that are getting nominations at SAG and the Oscars and BAFTA and all over the place, this is Sinners, and I'm really excited for this category going forward in future years to see,
Yep.
what the Academy does with this. Are they just going to go for the biggest cast or the best chemistry? Like, what are they going to go for? But I think that this is going to be Sinners, and I think it's going to be a moment for sure.
I want Runner Supreme because I think that's the most daring casting choices of the whole year, picking a lot of people who are not actors, and it's such
Hmm.
an out there ensemble. But again, I think Sinners has us locked up. Animated short, Ben, who do you got? Animated short.
Animated short. Let me switch over to my official ballot.
Oh,
Just
oh,
a moment, or if
okay.
you want to give me your prediction while I find my
I
ballot.
have no idea. I'm going with it. Oh no, you know, I'm going with the Three Sisters. That's what I'm picking. The Three Sisters. I'm going out there on a limb. That's what I'm picking. Ben, who do you got? I picked the Three Sisters. Who do you got?
This is for live action short.
No, for animated short.
Animated short. Where did they put that? I am sorry.
No, you're good.
Because for me, I have not seen any of these. Animated short, I have Butterfly. That
Okay,
is
so
what
there
I
we go. We
have for
disagree.
this category.
All right, animated feature. We're both gonna pick, I believe, K-pop Demon Hunters. Correct, Ben, for animated or no?
Yes, it's going to be this movie. I'd love it to be Zootopia 2. I love Zootopia 2, actually. So yeah, it's going to be K-pop. It's won everywhere it needed to. So yeah, we
Yeah,
can.
I like Zootopia too. I like Elio also. I think it's a pretty solid Pixar movie. I don't think it's great, but I think it's a solid Pixar movie. But yes,
Hmm.
it seems very lock and step. It will be K-pop. Now let's get to the real big five awards of the night. We have like 15 minutes to talk about this, so I'm very excited to go into this with Ben. Supporting actress. I video proof finally of me being on a bandwagon. I said from day one of awards season, this was Amy Madigan's Oscar to lose. And there have been many times, including Ben, including a lot of people in our life, who've been saying, "Oh, Max, it's not going to happen. It's going to be Tiana Taylor. It's going to be this person." It's not. This is going to be Amy Madigan's Oscar. There's a couple of reasons why. I think the reason why it couldn't is because this Weapons was very weak at the Oscars. Did not get a Best Picture nomination, did not get a Screenplay nomination, which I do think is a fair reason to think she could get upset here.
Hmm.
But she is by far and away the most respected actor in this category. A lot of these actors are very new as pertains to award season and acting Oscars and things of that nature. She's been a character actor for decades, and this is finally the time I think that they're going to give her her big award. I do think, for example, if a Tiana Taylor would win here,
Hmm.
that could help out who we think would win Best Picture.
Hmm.
I think that could be a lean. I think Wunmi Mosaku is becoming a threat, but I don't think she'll win the actual Oscar. I think she's a nice story, but not an actual winner. I think this is Amy Madigan's time. This is the only place that Weapons can be, awarded anything at the Oscars. It was my second or third favorite movie of the year. Amy Madigan, I've been on the bandwagon. I'm not jumping off. There's no reason to jump off, in my opinion.
Hmm.
So Amy Madigan,
Yeah.
Ben.
All right. So this is the category that I was most excited to come on here and talk about. It is one that I've spent a lot of time thinking about and trying to figure out what's going on. And I just want to preface my prediction with the statement that, as Max said, in the first time through, I would just out myself right here. I am a Wicked stan till the day I die. I think Ariana Grande was one of the performances of the year, and I think she should have received an Oscar nomination. With that being said, if Ariana Grande is not going to be in this category, Amy Madigan is far and away the best performance in the category. I want to say that right now. I think Amy Madigan is the best performance in the category. I think it's the performance that we're going to be talking about 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Aunt Gladys has become a somewhat of a cultural icon. With that being said,
Uh-oh.
my one holdup, and when Amy Madigan won SAG, I was like, yes, this is going to happen. I can't wait for this. But then I thought back to just last year. And let me get through this point here. The Substance, a horror movie, got nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, won Best Makeup and Hairstyle. And Demi Moore won the Globe. She won Critics' Choice. She won SAG. And I think her career narrative is stronger than Amy Madigan's, and she couldn't get it done. And the reason she couldn't get it done is because the BAFTA happened. Mikey Madison wins the BAFTA. She's in the Best Picture winner. She's gonna win that with Anora and Come Along. I'm going Wunmi Masaku Sinners in supporting actress.
Oh boy.
I want it to be Amy Madigan. I think that will be the moment of the night for me personally. Again, as I said, I think it's the best performance in the category. But if Demi Moore couldn't get it done last year, I don't know how Amy Madigan with one singular, if there was a casting nomination or a screenplay nomination or a Best Picture nomination, this is a slam dunk Amy Madigan. But with the strength of Sinners, I think this is going to be Wunmi Masaku. I really do. No
Um,
guts, no glory on this one.
I love it. So we do have Ben, just let you know, we do have under like 10 minutes here to get this video done, which is all cool. We're going to
Mhm.
get this done under 10 minutes because we have four categories left.
Mhm.
Quickly, because I don't think there's much debate, Jessie Buckley is going to win Best Actress in the leading role.
She is.
This is a
She is.
lock. Wish it was a more competitive category because I like Jessie Buckley, but this is not like a performance when I was like, this should just win the Oscar right now, but it's going to. Jessie Buckley for
Hmm.
Hamnet. Ben, do you have Jessie
Yes,
Buckley? All right, let's
I do.
not trying to be a jerk to Jessie Buckley, but she's won every award. We don't need to debate. Let's get into the three main debates. Supporting role for actor. I'm at a 50-50 standstill with Sean Penn versus Stellan Skarsgård. I don't see Delroy Lindo winning. He can make a grand speech at a different, we've seen the speeches. I think
Mhm.
it's between Sean Penn and Stellan Skarsgård, and I'm going to pick Stellan Skarsgård for
Wow.
sentimental value.
Wow.
I think it's a guy
Fascinating.
very similar to Amy Madigan. This is an international branch. And this guy has never won an Oscar before, never been even nominated for an Oscar before. Sean Penn has been there, done that. I
Hmm.
think he's won, but again, he's won in a lot of shows where even Skarsgård has not been even nominated in those categories. I'm
Hmm.
picking Stellan Skarsgård. I think he's going to get his first Oscar. It's going to be a
Hmm.
big moment. That's who I'm picking. Stellan Skarsgård. Ben, I know you don't have him, but I wanted to pick him. But Ben, who do you have?
I do not. I have Sean Penn. This is Sean Penn's award. It is my choice for the performance of the year. It's the best performance I saw in cinema this year. I think that if Stellan was going to win the Oscar,
Yeah.
he would have won. He would have won at BAFTA. If Sean Penn can win the BAFTA and win SAG, that's too strong for me. The only people that ever win the Oscar with just the Globe are Russell Crowe, Gladiator, and Kate Winslet, The Reader. And I don't think this is that type of performance. This is going to be Sean Penn one battle after another for me.
Hey, I could be wrong. This is my risk. I think supporting always has a weird thing. And then I see Stellan Skarsgård over Wunmi Mosaku as a shock. I just think he's a more realistic chance to get a shock win over her. But that's just me. That's just
I
me.
will say, I want to throw this in very quickly. My number two is absolutely Delroy Lindo. I don't think Stellan Skarsgård could win the Oscar. I think that if they're going to go all in on Sinners,
Yeah.
watch out for Delroy. Because the point is he may not have been nominated at these other ceremonies, but that means he hasn't lost to any of these other nominees. So I think Delroy's my number two. I think Sean Penn takes it.
Well, look at me. Look at us just finally. Some good. Now let's get the best actor, the juicy stuff in their final 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So I am picking Timmy for best actor.
Wow. Okay.
I
Mm-hmm.
am done with the BS. I
Mm-hmm.
think now again this opera stuff. I don't even want to get into it. The voting was done by the time this opera controversy started. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I am never going to go off him for this category. I think it's really nice that Michael B. Jordan won at the SAG Awards. Very nice. And sure,
Mm-hmm.
he lost it. Timmy lost it at the BAFTAs, but this is going to be the one award, first of all, that Marty Supreme can win out of this whole award show. And it was a very much a nominated movie. Clearly, the Academy likes Marty Supreme.
Yes.
If it does, this is going to be a slam dunk win. I'm tired of people saying he needs to wait. He's been nominated now
Mm-hmm.
for the Oscars for a decade now. He is by far the best performance in this category. And Michael B is a
Mm-hmm.
very good performance. He's excellent. This is not a competition to me. I'm shocked it's become such a debate. I think if he
Mm-hmm.
loses this, it will be a bad day, in my opinion. And I love Michael B, but this is an undeniably special performance that is the best of the four acting categories. If you are offended, if there's a voter out there who's offended because of the way Timmy goes about his business, you should not be allowed to vote for the Oscars because there have
Mm-hmm.
been people nominated here who've done way worse things than Timothy Chalamet hasn't done anything actually. He's going to win Best Actor. I want to hear the speech. I hope he gives it all of the Robin cockiness as I wanted to have because
Yeah.
I don't believe he should be losing this. But I know most people are going to pick Michael B. I'm not off
Mm-hmm.
Timmy's bandwagon. Ben, with 5 minutes to go, what do you got on?
So when Michael B won the SAG award, excuse me, won the Actors Award for Best Actor, I immediately switched over to him because in my mind, I didn't think that Timothy Chalamet could win the Oscar without BAFTA or SAG. With that being said, in over the week and having time to think about it and going through this entire ballot, I feel like over the last few days I've gone through it in pieces, but going through it today with you, Timothy Chalamet is going to win Best Actor. I think I'm changing from Michael B. I do think it's the strongest performance in the category. I
Oh,
do think Michael B winning would be great. It's a truly exceptional performance, playing twins, different mannerisms, different accents. It's an amazing performance. But I do think that Timmy can do it. I did some research. Sean Penn for Mystic River, George Clooney, Seriana, Regina King. If Bill Street can talk, you can win Critics' Choice and the Globe, miss BAFTA and SAG as long as it's two separate people and still win the Oscar. I agree with you. This is going to be Timmy, and I'd love to see the speech. I'm ready for it. I'm going with Timothy Chalamet. I'm
I
switching
agree.
up.
I'm shocked you're going with that. Thought you're going to be all
I'm
in on
switching
this.
up.
I again, I love Michael Biehn Sinners. I thought that was an easy nomination. I am totally against Timmy losing this award. I'm against it. Like I'll be mad generally, and
Yeah.
If he's rubbing you the wrong way, look yourself in the mirror. That's all I have to say. Look yourself in the mirror about your life and your way you go about things. Let's
Hmm.
get to Best Picture.
Okay,
Sinners versus One Battle After
pretty
Another.
much. Yeah.
I have been saying for months, it's been a lock. One Battle, it's done. All these award shows, the PGAs even said it was his best movie. And the PGAs are never wrong, is what I've been
Hmm.
told over the last decade. Like one or two times they've gotten Best Picture wrong for the Oscars. I don't know. I don't. Ben, I want you to go first in our final 3 minutes because I'll go quick with mine. Take a
So I'm
minute
just gonna
and a half
be,
on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So coming into this talk show that we were gonna do, I was gonna go um supporting actress Sinners, actor for Michael B. Jordan, and then I was gonna pick Sinners for Best Picture. In thinking about it over this time and having this discussion with you, I think that the package that I've put together for One Battle is too strong. It won WGA, it won DGA, it won PGA, it won the Globe, it won the Critics' Choice, it won the BAFTA, even though I think Sinners is a far superior film to One Battle After Another. As I've said, Sinners is my favorite movie of the year and is going to be one of my favorite movies of the decade. Statistically speaking, this will be one of the biggest upsets in Best Picture we've ever had. One Battle After Another is won everywhere. I'm giving it screenplay, editing, director, cinematography,
Yeah.
supporting actor. One Battle After Another. I'm sticking with it. It's going to be One Battle After Another. I would love Sinners to win this and be the
So
passion, cool thing for the Oscars could do. I just don't think it's going to happen. It's going to be One Battle.
here's my thought process. This might not be valid. Last year, we had two Best Picture frontrunners, which was The Brutalist and Nora.
Mm-hmm.
I stuck with The Brutalist because I told people that was the Oscar, the vintage Oscar movie. And I like that
Mm-hmm.
movie much better than Nora, but it lost a lot of steam. This year, if you told me a vampire movie could win Best Picture, I would be, shocked. Still
Right.
shocked if Sinners wins. But last year, I stuck to my gut thinking it's like the 1960s Oscars. They're just gonna pick The Brutalist. That's a more Oscar movie.
Mm-hmm.
That backfired on me pretty big time last year with my love of The Brutalist, and except Adrian Brody.
Mm-hmm.
So if this backfires on me 2 straight years in a row, I'm gonna mix it up. Sinners is going to win Best Picture
Wow.
because
Wow.
this movie has genuine passion. And I think
Mm-hmm.
the preferred ballot, people who might have, I think Sinners is going to have a much better job in the preferred ballots. I think even if people think this movie's better than One Battle and Sinners, I think Sinners is going to be higher on most people's preferred ballots than One Battle. And
Mm.
I have Sinners beating One Battle. And we got to wrap things up, sadly, but I'm going with Sinners. And I love that we both disagree because I think you're easily correct. I think it's always fun for Best Picture when we don't know. I thought 3 weeks ago, really quick, Ben, 30 seconds on.
I just wanted to make the point that I feel like personally, as I said, like I'm going to be filling out two ballots, my want ballot and my other ballot that I think is my true predictions, which I gave you here. Sinners is going to be all there. I just think that I'm going to be frustrated with myself if I pick Sinners and then it's going to be one battle at the end of the day. That's just
Yeah.
how I feel, you know?
Well, that's our picks. Ben, this was a blast. I had the best time doing this with you. We had a great time. I'm Max Sinderberg. I'll be back on Monday breaking down myself, the actual award show. But Ben, I had a great time. Thanks for joining me. I'll put his social
Thank you for
media
having me.
down in the description down below. So please follow Ben on social media. And I'll see you guys in another video very soon.